Ponytails. Read by Scribbler. Safe by Sharp Spark. Applebloom was almost done with her art project when the sirens started their wailing. The other kids immediately began making noise to match. Snips and Snails cheering loudly, others excitedly babbling. One flighty filly in the back of the schoolroom letting out a terrified shriek. Bloom added a groan of her own to the chaos, her pencil falling out of her mouth to clatter against the desk. More than anything else, it was annoying. She had really been in the zone this time. Halfway through the best apple tree she had ever drawn, and she had drawn a lot of apple trees. She briefly considered taking the paper and pencil with her, but she figured she wouldn't have the room or light to continue. Besides, she had a job to do, as dumb as it was. She hopped up, trotting to the back of the room as Miss Cheerilee valiantly tried to get everyone else to calm down. The trapdoor sat in a weird place in the corner of the room. It wasn't a big deal to push the empty desk out of the way, but it took all her strength to heave the heavy panel open. She peered down into the darkness for a moment, before a question from Miss Cheerilee caught her attention, and she glanced up to nod that she was ready. The other ponies pushed and shoved each other as they formed a loose line, more out of natural rambunctiousness than any real worry. Except for Alula in the very front, her wings twitching as she hyperventilated. Alula was always in the front, and it wasn't because they were in alphabetical order. Applebloom rolled her eyes.
1,
she muttered, as Alula dived past her into the darkness of the basement. The next ponies took it slower.
2, 3, 4.
Sweetie Belle was number 8, and she and Applebloom shared a quick look of exasperation. The colts were all excited about getting out of doing their schoolwork. Most of them were too dumb to realize that recess was in another 10 minutes, and that they'd miss most of that instead.
12, 13, 4... What?
Silver Spoon planted her hooves right in front of the entrance, her eyes wide.
Where's DT? Is she inside already? I didn't see her.
Applebloom exhaled.
Yeah, sure. She's down there. Just go already.
Silver Spoon bit her lip, looking back over her shoulder one more time before climbing down.
14,
Applebloom wrinkled her nose.
15, 16...
Miss Cheerilee stood at the back of the line, herding the last stragglers past Applebloom. "Is that everyone?" she asked. Applebloom frowned. 19. Well, 20, including herself. There was supposed to be 21. Had she seen Diamond Tiara? She couldn't recall. She didn't remember any blank flank-related insults at any rate, and that was usually the giveaway. Come to think of it, she seemed to recall Diamond asking to go to the bathroom earlier, a few minutes before the sirens? And that gave Applebloom a certain clever idea.
21,
she said, giving Miss Cheerilee her most innocent smile.
That's everyone.
It would serve her right to come back to find every pony gone all of a sudden, to be left alone with the sirens still blaring. Applebloom's only regret was that she wouldn't be able to see the look on Diamond Tiara's face when she freaked out. The best she could hope for would be to catch Diamond still sobbing when they came up after the stupid drill was over. All the better to tease her about for weeks on end. After all, it's not like she didn't deserve it. "Very good," Miss Cheerilee said, breaking through Bloom's devious daydreams as she shooed Bloom into the musty dark. Cheerilee followed close behind, and the heavy trapdoor slammed shut with a rattling bang, leaving them in total darkness. At least until the shield spell activated, encasing the tiny chamber in a purple bubble. The one light revealed a room far smaller than the classroom above in here. hardly enough room for all the kids. It didn't help that they had lost all sense of order. Every pony knew that with the shield spell they were completely locked in for a good half hour. Colts were roughhousing and wrestling in the dust, while other ponies tried to stake out their own parts of the room to sit and talk in. Over in one corner, a Lula had curled up into a tiny ball. Applebloom peered around. It wasn't like it was a very big space, but she was still having trouble finding her friends. With so many foals bouncing around, it made it all very confusing. Her eyes narrowed as she caught sight of Silver Spoon and Diamond Tiara seated on the floor side by side, whispering and giggling with one another.
Huh. Hey, Applebloom,
Sweetie Belle said, sidling up to her.
there you are! Boy, I'm sure sick of all these emergency drills, aren't you?
Sweetie nodded.
For sure. But didn't we have one of these last week?
Sweetie frowned, a hint of worry entering her voice.
I thought they only tested the alarms like once a month.
Applebloom blinked.
Did we?
Last Thursday.
Sweetie Belle craned her head, looking around the room.
Have you seen Scootaloo? I couldn't find her anywhere.
Applebloom's eyes slowly trailed up to look at the ceiling, at the glow of the impenetrable shielding spell, and the thick trapdoor right past it. The two together blocked out all sound from above. She couldn't even hear the sirens anymore, much less anything else. When she looked down again, she noticed her teacher staring upwards as well, face pale and drawn. Their eyes met for an instant, and then Miss Cheerilee put on her best reassuring smile.
Don't worry. Every pony in here is perfectly safe.
That was Safe. It was written by Sharpspark and read by Scribbler, with special guest voice actors Caitbug as the voices of Applebloom and Silver Spoon, and LupiArts as the voice of Sweetie Belle. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Slightly late reading this week. That will be because when I was meant to upload this on Sunday, I fell asleep on the living room floor. In my defence, I have not been sleeping particularly well recently for illnesses and other related reasons. So, you instead get it today! Yeah, and when I say floor, I do mean floor. I mean that I keeled over sideways and slept on the mat in front of the fire, which was not on, because it's summer and it's a heat wave and that would be stupid, for 2 hours. And I couldn't feel my arm at the end of it, and it was fish belly pale, because there was no blood in it at the end. So yeah, that was a thing that happened. And so, instead, we get this little dark fic, this little return to dark fickery today instead. And this was actually second place winner in the January write-off of this year, of which the theme was All In. And I think that I'll try that name again. Sharpspark, whose name shouldn't be a tongue twister, but apparently is, did a pretty good rendition and an interesting take on that theme, All In. It's not one I would have thought of, and for that reason I think it's an especially impressive one, because to write to a theme is difficult anyway, and to write this well, to have this level of sort of fridge horror in just over 1,000 words, because the entire story of this is only 1,006 words. It's the same kind of fridge horror, minus the gore, that I think comes from the cough. The idea of thinking about something afterwards and only realising the true horror of what you've just read, or in this case listened to, afterwards. That's true fridge horror. So with this one, really effective. And a dark fic without gore, which is unusual. For me, anyway. So continuing with a frankly flabbergasting and ridiculously generous theme from people, I've received some more fan art. I still don't know how this keeps happening. I'm so unbelievably grateful to people, but holy moly. First off, we have an ensemble piece called Keyframe is Back by Worldwind, and it features a lot of the Brony analysis... I can't talk tonight. A lot of the Brony analysis community, because Keyframe, as you may or may not know, I wasn't exactly instrumental, but I did help out with the Keyframe fundraiser. I reposted the video, and Reva, Brony and I gave DeWilsonator and Keyframe some help with just tips on how to use a fundraising website. And therefore, Whirlwind saw fit to include me in this piece of art, which was really, really generous. So thank you very much, Whirlwind. And we also have this lovely... I really, really like how this has come out. The framings and proportions of this is for a sketch. It's really adorable. And this is from Royal Shine Note. So thank you ever so much. I do love this. I'm always slightly amazed at how my Ponysona's design has evolved over time and how people have taken to it. So thank you ever so much, because I love the way that my Ponysona looks now. It's not the original design, and it's better than my original design, so I have no problems with people redesigning her this much, because she's adorable. And then we have this one, which is called Obab Scribbler by The Luminescence. And anybody who has me on Skype, this is currently my Skype picture, because... so pretty, and apparently covered in snow, and so pretty, and shiny, and big googly anime-eyed, and moe, and me, I do like this one. I really, really like this one. Thank you ever so much, Luminescence. This one was one that was actually posted a while ago, but I only found it recently, and it's somebody who listened to Puppet to Her Fame reading. It's, I can make sure I can get this name right, Mago's Reborn, and... he's done this picture of the puppet, well, the puppet mask, if you like, and Octavia. It's very clever. It looks like it's just a smiling mask, and then you realise that it's actually Octavia's face screaming behind it, and there's the strings, the hooks, pulling her mouth into a smile, even as she's screaming behind her. That's quite effective. So thank you very much for that one. And we have this one! And suddenly, I'm not an Earth Pony anymore! I'm a Pegasus, and I can fly! And it's Scribbler with Wings by Sketch Art. Thank you ever so much. Look, I can fly! And apparently I really like flying. Mine's going everywhere. I can fly! Thank you ever so much for that one, Sketch Art. So thank you ever so much for those. They're all wonderful, and you're all wonderful and amazing people for sending them to me, because I love getting fan art. And any fan art now is going to go on the end of these stories, because if somebody's going to take the time to send me fan art, the least I can do is to showcase it and to say thank you. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you! I may have had too much Pepsi Max tonight. You can never have too much Pepsi Max. That's a stupid idea. Stupid. Never too much. No. Onwards! Once again, I have to say a tremendously big thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon, because without their support, I wouldn't be able to keep in my life one of the most important things in my life, which is Suki, my dog. So, thank you very much to Klaus Hyde, Scout Charger, Norman, Sturdy Solus, Houston Russell, Corpulent Brony, Ask Nightmare Luna, who I believe is a new one, Mad Curse, Starlight Stream, Xeno, Mystic Mystery, Magic Mystery, no, that's Scooby-Doo, The One Ryu, Stephen Knight, Marcus, as you apparently said you like the way I try stupidly to pronounce your name, but I like saying it that way, Marcus, Shining Tevos Star, Ian Jensen, Limey Pony, and Gamer Brony. Thank you very much to everybody, and yeah. Next time I see her rolling in rabbit poo, I shall lovingly think of you. Thank you very much, guys. Be lovely to each other, and good night, everybody.